I want to move on to a game I like to play with my guests. It's called Choose Between Two. Essentially, I'm going to give you a choice between two different things, and you're going to choose one and elaborate on your choice. Are you ready to play?
I must say that this is a cruel game, but I just want to say that.
Well, I like horror films. I like to torture people. What can I say? All right. First one, Dracula or Frankenstein?
Are we talking about Universal?
Just as a character overall.
Um, so you've already stumped me. You've already stumped me. I mean, I think your question is ultimately to sort of clarify why one is better than the other.
Or why would you have a preference to one over the other, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I would say when I was younger, absolutely Frankenstein, because he was more of a unpredictable monster and a brute. And Dracula to me, while was a vampire, which can be scary, he was more erudite, he was more sophisticated, he was more noble, and he was more romantic. So that didn't interest me so much when I was a kid, especially when it wasn't so bloody. But once vampires in general sort of showed to me that sex and blood was the meat and potatoes of the average vampire movie, I became, especially with Christopher Lee, much more interested. And I would say 1979's Dracula by John Badham, that starred Frank Langella. I would say that's probably where things turned for me between one, being much more interested in Frankenstein's monster, because I saw Frank Langella on Broadway
Hmm.
in Edward Gorey's Dracula, which was Edward Gorey sets and Dracula with a tongue-in-cheek sensibility. And so when John Badham did it, he did it a straight adaptation. He just wanted to do his version, and I loved it beginning to end. I saw that at Scarsdale Plaza and was the first rated R movie I ever got to see.
And for what I understand of that film, not to go far into the weeds, but you were kind of begging to see Alien and you couldn't get the session in.
Yeah.
So that was the alternate option, right?
Oh my God, that was I didn't well, here's the thing. The brief recap of that is that with Scarsdale Plaza, because there was a new movie every week, Alien showed up, and I was 11 years old, and
Mm.
I wanted to see it so badly, and my mom said, "No, David, you're going to have nightmares." And I was like, "No, I've got the novelization, I've got the photo book, I've got the comic. I know everything about it. I know everything that happens. I won't be scared. I just really want to see it. I can't wait to see it." No, no, you can't see it. And
Mm.
then so Alien came and went. And then about a week and a half later, my dad said, "So, David, did you want to see that Alien movie?" And of course, it was gone. And it
Mm.
wasn't playing anywhere else because last stop before Disappearsville was Scarsdale Plaza. But the wonderful consolation prize was the fact that John Bradham's Dracula was playing there. And so I got to bond with my dad, and he took me to go see it. He trusted that I could see my first rated R movie with no big deal, and I loved it. I thought it was amazing, and I would have to eventually see Alien on VHS.
Next one, Wes Craven or John Carpenter?
John Carpenter versus Wes Craven is a real tough one, but Halloween is such an incredible uh, Halloween changed my world in that I went from monster movies to horror movies, transitioning using that film. I had seen like The Exorcist, I'd seen The Omen, Amityville Horror on television,
Mm.
and they scared the crap out of me. And those were clearly horror versus monster movies. But they were the movies that I wanted to see because they were popular, and I needed to know why they were popular, and they scared me. Whereas Halloween, again, I saw that only on TV the first time I ever saw it. Um, for some reason, it changed my mindset where I wanted to learn how to face my fears. Why did this scare the crap out of me? How did John Carpenter put this together? Was it the music or the editing or just the storytelling? Something about it intrigued me where instead of saying, "I'll never watch that again because it scared the crap out of me," I kept on coming back to it. And I didn't know this consciously at the time, but I was deconstructing this film to understand why it was scary and how John Carpenter did his magic. And so I'll just cut to Wes Craven. My appreciation for Wes Craven came much later when I started to realize I enjoyed the Nightmare on Elm Street films, but I wasn't as obsessed with, I felt at that point, it felt like filmmakers were saying, well, we need an icon like Jason or Michael Myers. Freddy came really early, but Freddy, by the time he showed up, I'm like, oh, they're trying to, there's something's happening here. They're
Mm,
trying to create these characters for multiple returns, obviously good box office, but repetition and sequels, Hellraiser, Chucky, all that kind of stuff like that. So this is just my cynical young mindset thinking, well, you're not going to get me. I'm not
mm,
scared and I know what you're doing. It was only once I got over myself and started paying attention to the movies themselves as information and entertainment did I start really realizing how wonderfully intelligent and subversive Wes Craven was as a horror director.
I have a feeling I know where you're going to go with the next one. I'm going to ask anyway. Physical media or streaming?
Both. Physical media, I love the tangible, everything from looking for it in the video store on, when those things existed
Mm,
to now having it, I have so much. It's some, a portion is in my sort of reach for version, and then I have all this other stuff in the garage, basically. But the fact that you can have an instant gratification or find a movie, or even like you mentioned, Tubi. Oftentimes when I'm doing the In Search of Darkness movies, I'll be like, gosh, what was that one scene and then one thing? Rather than having to buy it or search for it if it's not readily available by physical media, I could go on Tubi and I know exactly where I could scrub it, find it, get that one line that I need. Was that, you know, two knives or was it a pitchfork? Gosh, what was it? I could check it and I use it for reference. But the sad thing about the instant gratification of streaming is that I learned the hard way very early on, especially with Netflix. I thought, well, that's my online video store. And I quickly realized that with licenses, things cycle out and they disappear or they go to another channel or they're impossible to find. And I found it out the hard way because I had sold some of my physical media thinking, oh, well, I can make some space for myself. Because
mm,
I had a lot of stuff. And especially when I worked for Entertainment Tonight and when I worked for Famous Monsters, I got a lot of stuff from the studios. I was very lucky, but I got so much stuff where I was just like, I don't know, I don't have enough room in my house for this stuff. So long and short of it is, I really do value and love physical media. But if you're someone like me who has so much, I don't have a room I can devote it to. So I literally come to the fundamental space problems for it. So I really do like the instant gratification of streaming. But I have to tell you, it's impossible to decide on something if I don't know what I want to watch. Because I
yeah.
scroll like everyone else, 20, 30, 40 minutes has gone by. I'll pick out a couple things, but I'll forget that I was wanted to even see it because I'm like, well, that's good, but let's see what else there is. And then I finally come back to that one thing that I wanted to watch, or I'll go to my physical media. So it's kind of an odd phenomenon in terms of trying to find something new.
It is. It definitely is. Last one. You're in the cinema, you're in a theater, you sit down, want to watch a movie, watch the movie. What's your go-to snack? Popcorn or candy?
Popcorn. I used to be a candy kid. At Scarsdale Plaza, I'd get the snow caps, I'd get the sweet tarts, but then my teeth felt like they were going to rot out by the end of the movie. Milk Duds. I watched during the Blues Brothers, and I laughed so hard I almost swallowed one. I couldn't breathe. No, Milk Duds tried to kill me during the Blues
Mm,
Brothers. And so I just kind of, and as I hit adolescence, the more candy I had, the more spots I had on my face. And so I've been ever since a popcorn person through and through. And boy, I can't not have popcorn when I sit and watch a movie.
Thank you for watching the Matt's Movie Reviews channel. Please subscribe for more reviews, podcast interviews, and exclusive content.